The rain hammered down like God's own judgment, turning the cracked sidewalks of Hell's Kitchen into rivers of regret. I huddled under the awning of a boarded-up bodega, my threadbare jacket no match for the November chill that clawed at my bones, whispering that this night might be my last. That's when I saw him. Sleek black Mercedes idling at the curb, the driver stepping out with a paper bag, steam rising from what smelled like fresh coffee and something warmer, something alive. Milk? I croaked, the word escaping before my brain caught up, my voice raw from days without real food. He froze, those piercing green eyes locking onto mine like spotlights in the dark. And in that split second, I knew I just shattered the invisible wall between us. He didn't flinch or turn away. Instead, he pulled a carton from the bag, cold, white, unopened, and thrust it into my filthy hands. "Here," he said, his voice steady but edged with something I couldn't place, like thunder rumbling far off. "And if you're not too proud, come inside. My place is 2 blocks away. You look like you could use more than this." My name is Angel, though back when life had teeth, folks called me Angelo Ramirez, a kid from the Bronx who dreamed of Broadway lights instead of dumpster dives. 24 now, and those dreams had curdled like the sour milk I'd scavenged last week. HIV positive since 18, courtesy of a foster system that chewed me up and spat me out. I'd been bouncing between shelters and streets for years. Meds? A joke. Consistency? Even funnier. The virus wasn't killing me yet, but the hunger, the cold, they were close. That night, though, everything shifted. His name was Connor Hale, tech mogul, gay as the rainbow flags flapping in the Pride Parade he sponsored every June. I'd seen his face on billboards, Hale Innovations, revolutionizing AI for healthcare, billions in the bank, heartbreaks in the tabloids. Why he stopped, why he cared, beats me. But I followed him, milk carton clutched like a lifeline, into the marble-floored lobby of his Tribeca penthouse, the doorman nodding like I belonged. "Shower first," Connor said, tossing me a towel thicker than my entire wardrobe. "Then food. Real food." He didn't hover, didn't pity stare, just vanished into the kitchen, leaving me in a guest bath that screamed money. Heated floors, rain showerhead, robes monogrammed in gold. I stood under the spray until my skin pruned, watching the grime swirl down the drain like old sins. The mirror fogged, but when it cleared, a ghost stared back. Sharp cheekbones, faded tattoos from juvie on my arms, eyes too old for my face. What the hell was I doing here? Rich guys like him didn't save strays like me without strings. But the milk, damn, that milk, tasted like forgiveness when I chugged it straight from the carton in the elevator. Dinner was steak, rare and juicy, with potatoes that melted on my tongue. We ate at a glass table overlooking the Hudson, city lights twinkling like distant stars. Connor poured wine, red, expensive, and asked questions without the pity. "Bronx, huh? I grew up in Queens. Dad was a cop. Beat the gay out of me with his belt until I ran at 16. I laughed, bitter. Foster roulette for me. Bounced from one Bible thumper to the next. Came out at 15. Got the boot by 17. Streets teach you quick. Love's a luxury you can't afford." His gaze softened, but not soft, like steel bending just enough. "Love's the only thing worth affording." We talked till midnight, stories spilling like the rain outside. He was 32, out since college, built an empire from a dorm room app tracking HIV meds. Ironic, given my secret. Divorced from a marriage of convenience to appease investors. Now single, dodging gold diggers and ghosts. By dawn, he'd offered a room. "Temporary," he said, "till you get on your feet." I wanted to bolt. Traps smelled like this. But the bed was heaven, sheets like clouds, and for the first time in years, I slept without one eye open. Weeks blurred into routine. Connor's world was a whirlwind. Board meetings in glass towers, galas where suits cost more than my life's earnings. He dragged me along sometimes, not as arm candy but as equal. I started small, running errands, then interning at Hale Innovations, filing data on that HIV app. Turns out I had a knack for patterns, spotting bugs in code like they were roaches in alleys. Nights were ours. Wine on the balcony, jazz from his vintage record player, hands brushing accidental on purpose. First kiss happened on a rooftop under fireworks for the 4th. His lips tasting of bourbon and bravery. Angel, he murmured, fingers tracing my jaw. Your trouble I didn't know I needed. But trouble has teeth. My past clawed back one gray afternoon. A letter from social services. Meds eligibility if I enrolled in a program. I hid it, ashamed. Connor deserved better than a ticking bomb. Then his ex, Marcus. Slick lawyer, all teeth and no soul. Slithered in. Darling. He'd coo at events, ignoring me like lint. Connor laughed it off, but I saw the shadows in his eyes. Fall deepened, leaves turning the parks to fire. We walked Central Park one crisp Sunday, scarves tangled, breaths fogging. Marry me? Connor said suddenly, dropping to one knee on a leaf-strewn path, ring glinting like a promise. Not the proposal, the vulnerability. My heart hammered. Yes? I whispered, pulling him up, our kiss sealing it amid joggers who didn't bat an eye. But joy's a fragile thing in New York. That night, back in the penthouse, my phone buzzed. A text from an old street buddy. Yo, Angel, that rich dude? Watch you are back. Marcus sniffing around. I deleted it, but doubt wormed in. Winter bit harder than expected. Snow blanketing the city in a hush that muffled our secrets. Connor and I dove into wedding plans. Not the Vegas elopement I joked about, but a quiet ceremony in the Hamptons. Just us, a officiant, and the ocean as witness. No spectacle, he insisted. This is ours. His world spun faster. Hale Innovations launching a new AI for early HIV detection. Investors buzzing like bees. I buried myself in work too, promoted to junior analyst, my insights sharpening the app's algorithms. For the first time I felt seen, not as the homeless kid, but as Angel, the man who could code circles around Ivy Leaguers. Our love was a quiet fire. Mornings tangled in silk sheets, his head on my chest, heartbeat syncing like a metronome. You saved me, I'd say, tracing the scar on his rib from his dad's rage. He'd shake his head. Nah, we saved each other. Evenings, we'd cook. Me teaching him empanadas from my abuela's ghost recipes. Him burning toast but laughing through it. Sex, tender, exploratory, like mapping new territories with whispers and touches that said what words couldn't. No rush, no performance, just us, raw and real. But cracks spiderwebbed. Marcus escalated. Showing up uninvited at the office with concerns about Connor's distractions. That stray you picked up? He'd sneer in the lobby, voice low so only I heard. He's using you. Con street rats always do. I bit my tongue, fists clenched, but inside, it festered. Was he right? My HIV status loomed like a storm cloud. I hadn't told Connor. Fear glued my lips shut. What if he saw me broken? Then the betrayal hit, not from Marcus, but closer. Connor's sister, Lila, sharp-tongued venture capitalist, the only family he claimed, flew in from LA. Dinner at our place. Candlelight, steak au poivre, her diamond earrings catching the light like accusations. Angel, right? She said, sipping Chardonnay, eyes appraising. Connor's little project. How quaint. I forced a smile. More like partner. Connor squeezed my hand under the table, but tension hummed. Later, as she toured the penthouse, I overheard her in the study. Bro, the board's whispering. Your engagement to some nobody is tanking stock. And that HIV app, rumors it's flawed because of your involvement. Connor's voice tight. It's solid, Lila. Angel's brilliant. Brilliant? Or convenient? Come on, you picked him up off the street. PR stunt gone wrong. I slipped away, heart pounding, nausea rising. That night, alone in bed while Connor mediated her meltdown in the guest room, I stared at the ceiling. Betrayal? Not yet, but the seed was planted. Lila left at dawn, air-kissing Connor with a warning. Fix this, or lose everything. The launch gala was a glittering beast at the Met, black ties, champagne flutes, celebs airbrushing smiles. Connor shone, speech flawless. This app isn't just tech. It's hope for the forgotten, the fighting. Applause thundered. I stood backstage, chest swelling. But as flashes popped, Marcus cornered me in the shadows. Enjoy it while it lasts, lover boy. I've got dirt that'll bury you both. His words slithered like ice. Dirt? On me? My past, petty thefts, a juvie stint for boosting meds, flared in memory. I shoved him off, storming out into the crisp night, snowflakes melting on my lashes. Connor found me on the steps, coat draped over my shoulders. What happened? Nothing. Lie tasted bitter. We drove home in silence, city lights blurring. In the elevator, he pulled me close. Talk to me, Angel. His green eyes searched mine, pleading. I broke then, words tumbling. The foster horrors, the diagnosis at 18. Nights praying the virus would just end it.
I'm poison, he choked.
You deserve clean. He cupped my face, thumbs brushing tears. Your life, my life, we'll fight it together. Meds, doctors, whatever. We made love that night slow and fierce, reclaiming each other against the world's grind. Spring teased with cherry blossoms, our wedding 2 months out. I started treatment. Connor's connections got me into a top clinic, pills swallowed with his steady hand on mine. Hail innovation soared. The app saved lives, headlines praising the queer couple behind the cure. But Marcus lurked, texts anonymous now. He'll leave when he knows the truth. Truth? I dug hacking office records late one night. Guilt gnawing, but survival's a bitch. Emails. Marcus pitching to investors, whispering that Connor's personal life risked the company. Attaching blurry photos of me on the streets. Worse, Lila's replies, forwarding board minutes questioning Connor's fitness. Betrayal crystallized at a rooftop fundraiser, skyline aglow. Connor proposed a toast to partners. Marcus countered with a slide in the presentation. Leaked code flaws in the app, timestamped to my workstation. Gasps rippled. Sabotage? Someone muttered. Connor's face drained white, eyes flicking to me. Doubt? No pain. I bolted, pulse roaring. Down fire escapes into the humid night. Streets swallowed me, old haunts calling. Had I done it? No, Marcus, that snake framing me. But proof? Buried in servers I couldn't touch without looking guiltier. Hours later, Connor's car screeched up. Angel, get in. Rain lashed as we sped to the office, his jaw set. I know it's not you. Inside, under fluorescence, we unearthed it. Marcus's digital fingerprints, sloppy in his arrogance. Confrontation at dawn. Marcus in his sleek office, smirking till Connor slammed printouts down. You're done. Lawsuits, headlines, your career's ash. Marcus lunged, venom spilling. You think love fixes this? He's a liability, Con. Always was. Fists flew. I pulled Connor back, blood on his knuckles. Security hauled Marcus out, empire crumbling. We collapsed in Connor's office, dawn painting gold on the windows. I'm sorry, he whispered, for doubting even a second. Forgiven. But the scar lingered. Summer scorched the city, humidity turning sidewalks to saunas, but our love cooled the burn. Wedding day dawned salty in the Hamptons. Waves crashing like applause. Lila absent but her shadow long. Connor in linen suit. Me in borrowed silk. Vows exchanged barefoot on the sand. In sickness, in health, through code and chaos. Rings slid on. Simple platinum bands etched with hope. His kiss tasted of salt and forever. Guests. Mostly his colleagues, my new friends from the office. Cheered with bubbly. Honeymoon in Provincetown. Whale watches, drag brunches, nights wrapped in each other on a deck overlooking dunes. This is us, Connor said, tracing my tattoos. Unbreakable. My counts stabilized. Therapy untangling foster knots. I thrived at work, leading a team on app expansions for queer youth shelters. Life, a dream I pinched myself over. But dreams fracture. Fall brought whispers. Board unrest. Investors pulling funds post-Marcus scandal. Connor buried in calls, eyes hollow. It's fine, he'd say. But I saw the toll, sleepless nights, scotch neat. Then Lila struck back, not with words but weapons. She sued for undue influence, claiming I'd manipulated Connor into the app's risky pivot, endangering family holdings. Court dates loomed like guillotines. Our lawyer, a bulldog named Reyes, prepped us in war rooms. Depositions, evidence stacks. She's after control, he growled. Hale Industries was Dad's legacy. She wants it pure. Connor laughed bitterly. Pure? She outed me to him at 16 for leverage. I held him through nightmares, his body shaking. We're poison to them, I murmured. No, love's the antidote. But doubt crept. Was I the poison? My past, unearthed in filings, juvie records, HIV status splashed in redacted briefs. Tabloids feasted. Millionaire's mystery groom. From gutter to altar? Protests erupted outside Hale HQ. Bigots waving signs. AIDS app built on lies. Planted by Lila's PR hacks, we knew. Connor shielded me, but cracks widened. One night, after a brutal hearing where Lila testified tearfully, he changed after Angel. Obsessed, unstable, he snapped. Maybe she's right. This fight's killing us. Words like knives. I stormed out, wandering East Village till bars closed, old urges whispering. One hit, one night to numb. Instead, I crashed at a shelter, staring at bunkmates' faces. Mirrors of my yesterdays. Dawn text from Connor. Come home, please. Reconciliation was raw. Tears, truths. I can't lose you, he sobbed. Not to them, not to fear. We doubled down. Public stand at oppressor. Connor outing the sabotage, me speaking on stigma. Love isn't liability. It's the code that runs deepest. Claps thundered. Stocks rebounded. Winter returned. Holidays laced with tinsel and tension. Christmas Eve, tree aglow in the penthouse, we hosted strays, shelter kids, queer elders from the apps network. Laughter echoed, but Lila's appeal loomed. New Year's, fireworks bursting over the river. Connor pulled me close. Resolution. No more hiding. Betrayal's final blow landed in January. Anonymous leak to the Times. Connor's offshore accounts, funneled to personal indulgences. Our honeymoon, my meds. IRS audit triggered, board coup in motion. Lila's hand, gloved in deniability. Connor raged in the study, papers flying. She wants me broken, like Dad did. I found proof that night, hacked her emails. Rhea's blessing, gray area ethics. Transfers to Marcus, now her puppet. Climax brewed. Confrontation at her gala, black tie affair in Midtown. We crashed it, uninvited, Connor in tux, me at his side, head high. Spotlights hit as he seized the mic. Family? This is betrayal. Slides projected, receipts, emails, her empire's underbelly. Gasps, flashes exploding. Lila paled, champagne flute shattering. You wouldn't, she hissed, lunging for the projector. Chaos. Guests scattering, security swarming. Connor faced her, voice steel. I already did. For Angel. For us. She crumpled. Not in defeat but venom. You'll regret this. Blood's thicker. But blood lied. Love didn't. As cops cuffed her for obstruction, fabricated evidence charges pending. Connor pulled me into the phrase I. We're free. Not quite. Audit cleared us, sloppy framing, but scars ran deep. Connor stepped down as CEO, handing reins to a trusted ally, pivoting to nonprofit. Hail Hope Foundation, expanding the app globally. I became director, voice for the voiceless. Our marriage, forged stronger, therapy our glue. Spring bloomed hesitant, but we walked it out. Therapy gardens in Brooklyn, hands linked. You changed me, Connor said one dusk, petals drifting. From survivor to fighter. Yet change isn't linear. It's a spiral, pulling you back to test resolve. Summer hummed with rebuilds, foundation galas, app rollouts in clinics from LA to Lagos. Connor and I traveled, not escapes but missions. Speaking at Pride events, holding hands in hostile towns where rainbows drew sneers. One night in rural Texas, post-panel on queer resilience. A kid approached, 17, eyes like mine once, clutching a flyer. Can I get tested here? Voice trembled. Connor knelt, kit from his bag. Right now, you're not alone. That kid's hug lingered. A reminder. Our pain birthed purpose. Back home, life settled into rhythms. Mornings coding side by side. Evenings on the balcony with takeout and tales. My counts? Optimal. Therapy? Unpacked Dad's ghost. Mine? A phantom dealer. His? The cop. Love? Deeper, worn like favorite jeans, comfortable, unyielding. But humanism demands shadows for light. Fall brought Connor's diagnosis. Prostate cancer, early but insistent. Irony bit. The man who'd coded hope now faced its test. We'll fight. I echoed his words from my reveal, holding him as PET scans loomed. Lila? Paroled? Silent. Rumors of rehab. A letter arriving and signed. Sorry doesn't fix, but it starts. We burned it, ashes to the wind. Treatment was brutal. Chemo rounds in sterile rooms. Connor's vibrancy dimmed to nausea and fatigue. I became caregiver. Soups simmered, laughs coaxed from bad TV. You're my anchor, he'd rasp, green eyes fever bright. Nights, I'd curl against him, whispering futures. Adoptions maybe, a house upstate with a garden. Climax crested not in drama but quiet storm. One chemo eve, monitors beeping, he gripped my hand. If I don't, voice cracked. You will, but fear clawed. Doctors hedged, aggressive, but beatable. We rallied, friends visiting, foundation staff pitching in. Lila even appeared once, gaunt, eyes clear. Let me help, she said. Truce? Fragile. Connor nodded. I swallowed pride. Winter thawed to spring, scans clean. Remission's word tasted like milk that first night. Pure. Shocking. We celebrated small. Picnic in the park, same path of his proposal, leaves unfurling. To us, toasts with ginger ale. But cancer's echo lingered, checkups routine, vulnerability our bond. Years folded, foundation global, us adopting twins, Javier and Mia, brown-eyed whirlwinds from the system that failed me. Connor grayed handsome, laugh lines etching stories. I wrote a memoir, Milk and Code, bestseller, proceeds to shelters. Pride speeches tag-teamed, his hand in mine under spotlights. One anniversary, Hampton's Beach at sunset, waves our witness again. 10 years, Connor said. Sand between toes, kids splashing nearby. From that carton to this. I pulled him close, salt wind whipping. Shocking response, huh? Best plot twist. He grinned, that thunder rumble voice soft. Love's the real hook. And in that moment, under endless sky, I knew. Lives changed not by milk or millions, but by choosing each other. Flawed, fierce, forever. Human after all. Epilogue whispers. Lila visited last Christmas, sober, anti to the chaos. We forgave not for her, but us. Streets still claim too many angels, but ours? We build bridges, one code, one kiss, one dawn at a time.